And I'm calling the meeting to order. With our agenda posting, we invited members of the public to view a broadcast of the Board of Directors meeting, which is live at www.youtube.com/State Bar of Texas. We also provided instructions on how to sign up to speak at today's meeting. Sign-ups are available until 5 p.m. Central Time yesterday. Members of the public will speak under agenda item number 5, and those members of the public joining remotely will remain in the Zoom waiting room until it is their turn to speak. Please note that this meeting will be recorded, and this recording will be made available to the public. The State Bar's Executive Director, Trey Hatfield, will now call roll.
Director Addy, Director Benish, Director Browning, Director Cavazos, Director Charbonnet, Director Chiscano, Director Crow, Judge Davis, Director Denbo, Director Foster, Director Fox-Dahlberg, Director Gomez, Director Greenslade, Director Grosdidier, Director Harris, Director Harrison, Director Hicks, Director Huddleston, Director Castle has an excused absence. Director Kegg has an excused absence. Director King, Director Kugler, Senior Justice Learman, Director Lindsay, Director Linehan, Director Locke, Director Martinez, Director Masri, Director Matea, Judge McClure, Director Mateer, Director Murray, Director Tony Wynn has an excused absence. Director Nicholson, Director Perez, Director Popoff has an excused absence. Director Quadros, Director Rod, Director Salick, Judge Schrader, Director Silverman, Director Smith, Director Sosa, Director Spaniel, Director Stafford, Director Stahl, Director Tabuada, Director Patty Vargas, Director Santos Vargas, Director Vasquez, Director Venzor, Judge Villarreal, Director Voss, Director Weinstein has an excused absence. Director Work, Director Rampelmeyer, Director Michael Wynn, Justice Young has an excused absence. He's here, I'm sorry. There he is. Justice Young is present. Thank you. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Trey. We now call Director Steve Chiscano to deliver the invocation.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today, let us give thanks for the many blessings you have given to allow this body to safely gather to do your work. As board members of the State Bar of Texas, we recognize that we're called to be instruments of your peace, to seek justice for those in need, and to defend those who cannot defend themselves. Lord, we ask for the gift of prudence to guide our deliberations, the grace of temperance in our discussions, and above all, the spirit of justice that flows from each of our hearts. Grant us wisdom, not for our own glory, but so we may discern right from wrong and protect the rights of every citizen. May we remember that those who are given much responsibility are called to much service, and that we will be held accountable for our stewardship of trust placed in us. We pray especially for guidance in serving the poor, the marginalized, and those who lack a voice in our legal system. Help us to remember that true justice flows from love. love of truth, love of righteousness, and love of our neighbor. May our work today reflect your mercy as well as your justice. Bless our deliberations, that they may be guided by your wisdom. Unite us in common purpose, even when we disagree. Grant us the humility to seek truth over personal advantage and the courage to do what is right, even when it is difficult. As we begin our work, we commend ourselves and our service to your providence, trusting that you will guide us according to your will and for the good of your people. In your holy name, amen.
Thank you, Director Chiscano. Excellent. We'll now call Director Linehan, Rebecca Linehan, to lead the board in the pledge to the U.S. and Texas flags.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. At this time, we would like to welcome any members of the public who have signed up to speak. Any member of the public joining us in person who wishes to speak should sign a blue sign-in card and return it to staff. If there is a specific topic of discussion or agenda item you would like to speak on, please list that on the card. If any member of the public has signed up to speak remotely, you will remain in the Zoom waiting room until it is your turn to speak, and I will address you to indicate when you may begin. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak on your agenda item, and we will notify you when your time is complete. Are there any members of the public that have signed up to speak? Are there any members on the Zoom or on a Zoom that have signed up to speak? No member of the public has signed up to speak, and the public comment period is now closed. During the remainder of the meeting, if there are board members or staff who wish to speak, please approach the microphone, identify yourself, and I will let you know when it's your turn to speak, or the chair will let you know when it's your turn to speak. It's now time to hand over the gavel to my successor. As I'm talking, Senior Justice Lehrman and Brittany Harrison, Director Brittany Harrison currently, soon to be Chair Brittany Harrison, would you please step forward? I'm very fortunate to have already worked with Brittany. I said a lot yesterday about a lot of people, and I know that Brittany is going to do an excellent job. She'll be our chair for the coming year. She's already spent 2 years on the board, and her learning curve is accelerated, you might say, and noticeable. She already had considerable experience on the board through TYLA as its former president. And I think that shows. She's very diligent. She's very conscientious. I think she'll lead this board in the right direction. I've offered my advice. I've offered my counsel, and we're going to offer her the gavel. And at this time, I'll ask Justice Lehrman to come, Senior Justice Lehrman, to come forward to administer the oath.
Thank you so much, Chair Stafford. This is my great privilege to be able to do this today. So would you please raise your right hand? I, Brittany Harrison, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the Chair of the Board of the State Bar of Texas,
of the State Bar of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States and of Texas,
of the United States and of Texas,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Brittany Harrison, now Chair Brittany Harrison. And I want to present you with the chair's gavel and wish you good luck on your upcoming year. I know you'll be a great chair, and the board will have a tremendous year.
Good morning, everyone. All right. Thank you, Senior Justice Learman and Paul. This is truly an honor, and thank you to the Board of Directors for electing me to serve as chair of this board and to serve with all of you. To Paul, please know how much we appreciate all of your efforts over the past year in leading the board in a very efficient manner, but also striving to always make sure everyone had a voice and was able to be heard. And so we really, truly appreciate that. And you've always led and ensured that all the board worked efficiently according to the statute, the rule, and of policy. This is a very big job, and I have big shoes to fill, but we appreciate everything you've done for us over this past year, so thank you.
Thank you.
And then to the board, at your places, you'll see a list of appointments for all of the board committees, the sections, and the standing committees. I worked with Paul and Trey and Santos to make sure, well, really for several hours, to make sure that we made good appointments and to give you an opportunity to serve where you wanted to serve, and also just ensure that we made the best appointments possible. So please remember that every single committee, every single standing committee, and every single section is equally important. So I hope you are pleased with your appointments, and we look forward to working with you this next year. Just an announcement, the local bar leaders conference will be held in Houston at the Westin Galleria, July 24th and 25th. Directors who plan to attend should not register for the local bar leaders conference online. If you already did so, please let our fabulous Jennifer Reams know, and directors will be receiving a notice next week of forms, so you can make sure you register using that form only. Senior Justice Learman, would you come back up to the front? And we are going to have our swearing in of our new president-elect, G. David Smith. And then also we'll have our 2025, 2026 incoming directors. So David, would you also please come forward? G. David Smith is a founding partner in Smith & Lee Lawyers in Rockwall. He has been board certified in personal injury law since 1990. He's also been actively involved in his local legal community, serving as president and on the board of the Rockwall County Bar Association, as well as on the board of the Rockwall County Bar Foundation. From 2021 to 2024, he represented District 1 on the State Bar of Texas Board of Directors. And I'll turn it over to you, Justice Learman.
Thank you so much, Chair. And this is my indeed great privilege to swear in the, what number is it? Which, 46? 146. Yeah, obviously, yeah. 146 President. What an honor. Please raise your right hand. I, David Smith. Do solemnly swear. That I will faithfully execute the duties. Of the office of President-elect. Of the State Bar of Texas. And will to the best of my ability. Preserve, protect, and defend. The Constitution and laws. Of the United States and of Texas. So help me God. Oh, congratulations.
Any general remarks?
Thank you. Thank you to this leadership team for letting a dream that I had become a reality. Thank you for the mentorship that comes from these fine people that sit right up here, from Cindy Tisdale, from, oh my gosh, from everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the help and support that I've had from everyone in this room, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I thank, most of all, my wife, Diane, and I can't tell you how much she did to help and move this thing forward, and I can't express in words how much she means to me and how much she will contribute to this effort as we move forward. I want to thank a lot of people, and most importantly, I want to also thank Deborah Cordova. We started out as opponents, and we became friends. And I think we set a standard for what needs to be the way we conduct our business as a bar, and the way that we conduct our business as a state, and the way that we conduct our business as a nation. We ended as friends. We had a healthy debate, and the people chose, and either way that it would have gone, it would have been a great decision. And so my hat's off to her. I want to tell you a few things real quick about why I chose to run for this position. First of all, it wasn't on my radar until I got a visit from somebody and they said, "We would like you to come interview," and I did. And then I realized as I got into it, this is a huge undertaking. And I was asked multiple times on the campaign trail, "Why in the world are you doing this? Why would you even want this job?" And, you know, I had to kind of scratch my head, and I got to thinking about it, and it goes back to a year ago. I sat in this room at this meeting when the new bar directors took over and started their year, and I looked up and I heard Tony Gwynn get up and give a very moving statement about her trek to become a director of the State Bar of Texas. And I looked across the room and I saw all different types of people. I saw people with political perspectives from the right, people with political perspectives from the left. I saw people of different sexual orientations. I saw people of different races. I saw people of different viewpoints coming together and doing the business of the bar, and doing the business of the bar in a respectful and humble way, and achieving the goals that we have that have been set to us by the State Bar Act, by the Texas Supreme Court, and doing it without rancor, without fighting, without any great discord. Vigorous debate, certainly, but respectful debate, yes. And that was what I was most proud of. I saw that in our diversity as a group, that was our strength, and it is our strength. And that's why I'm here, because I want to carry that forward. I want to follow the examples of Steve, of Santos, of Cindy Tisdale. And I think that we can do it, and I think that we can do it as an example to our state, to our nation, of how governance can happen. I wake up every morning and I look at the TV and I see new levels of idiocy. And you all do too. And it's on both sides. It's on the right, it's on the left, sometimes even in the center. But I don't get discouraged by that. I see it as a challenge. And in the words of Cindy Tisdale's Ted Lasso, I believe. I believe in you. I believe in the ability of this board not only to do the work of the State Bar, but to carry forward that example so that other agencies in this state, so that the state legislature, so that all levels of government can see it works. Democracy's not dead, it's alive and well, and we can make it happen. And so we have to be that example, and I challenge you to do that. I hope that we can do it together as we move forward. This year, I want to do everything I can to support this man right here and help him in all of his goals. I want President Vargas to have a stellar year, and I want us all to rally behind him and make that happen and make his presidency everything he wants it to be. And as we go forward into the next year, there'll be a lot of things that I hope we can achieve as well. But most importantly, all I ask is that you hold on to that belief. Believe, because we can, and by example, we can show what being a great organization is and how democracy works. Thank you all.
Up next, we are going to ask that all new directors, including elected directors, section representatives, and liaisons all come forward over here, and Justice Lerman will, or Senior Justice Lerman will also come up. And y'all can form kind of a semicircle over here, just so everyone. Yes.
Thank you. Well, you all know you have a big job ahead of you, and I know that you're going to do a great job and live up to the words of our President-elect Smith, who so eloquently described what's going on in our country and our state. And I know that every one of you are going to live up to the challenge. And it is my sincere privilege to be able to swear you all in today. Please raise your right hands. I, and please state your names, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of director of the State Bar of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of Texas. So help me God. Congratulations.
Steve.
Okay. All right, up next, we're going to do a presentation to the incoming president, Santos Vargas. To Santos, our incoming president who will take office tomorrow, we want to present you with the traditional rosewood gavel. It is symbolic of your leadership and the great opportunity and responsibility we have as we work together for our profession and the public. We are blessed to be Texas lawyers and to be officers of the court, and we take that responsibility seriously. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Madam Chair, thank you so much. I just have a couple of remarks. Today is Brittany's day and David's day, and they have already set a very, very high bar, and I'm looking forward to both of their leadership this coming year. Madam Chair, we go back a long time, back to whenever actually I was board chair and you were the TYLA president, and I look forward to this year because I know that you're going to bring the type of professionalism, the type of hard work that you showed when you were president of TYLA, and I know that you are going to continue the level of excellence that we've had at the position of board chair over the coming year, and so I look forward to working together. We're going to make a great, great team. Trey, I hope that I can be half the president that Steve Benish and Cindy Tisdale have been. You and I have really gotten to have a very close relationship. You always provide wise counsel, and I know that working together with you, the State Bar staff, Jennifer Reams, Lowell Brown, everybody at the State Bar, we're going to make a great team this year, and we're going to have an excellent year for Texas lawyers and the State Bar of Texas. David, wow, wow. What great, incredible remarks. I know that this year, you and I and Steve are going to have a fantastic time, and I know that you have the heart of a servant leader. I can tell from the passion in your voice, from the level of professionalism in your remarks, that you are going to be an excellent president-elect and then president of the State Bar of Texas. And I look forward to working with both you and Steve Benish this year to accomplish great things for the lawyers of the state of Texas. And to all of the board, this new class that just came in, incredible. When I saw the list of names on that roster, the list of new directors that were coming in, and I saw the level of greatness in all of the lawyers that were coming in, I was just in awe. I know that you all are going to do an incredible job. I know that you're just right now, for some of you at least, starting to get your feet wet, but I can tell in your faces. I can tell in the level of interaction that I have with each and every one of you that you care about the practice of law and that you're here to do the right thing and good things for the lawyers of the state of Texas. And I look forward over the course of this next year to working with all of you to better the practice of law in the state of Texas for all Texas lawyers and for the public that we're here to protect. Thank you all, and I look forward to working with you.
Are there any comments from the directors? And if so, please go to the microphone in the back. All right. If not, then next we will hear from our Executive Director, Trey F. Bell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, Mr. Chair, Paul Stafford, it's been an honor and privilege to serve with you. Very succinctly, you have served with strength and with grace. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of all of our hearts for that service. Good job. Madam Chair, congratulations. This is going to be awesome, getting a chance to work with you. President-elect David Smith, welcome aboard. New directors, congratulations. I hope in a strange sort of way you're a little jealous of me and my role because of who I get to work with on an almost daily basis. I get to work with some pretty incredible people. And now I get to work with more incredible people. And I share these comments every year at this meeting. So some of you old hands have probably heard some of this before, but it serves as a good reminder. So this is my roll call sheet. Call it every meeting. Seems like a rather ministerial act, and it is. Sometimes I stumble. Sometimes I call out a Supreme Court justice as not being here when they are here. But I get through it. But that roll call means so much to me personally. Because when you're out there looking up, you're looking at State Bar leadership. But we're up here at the head table, and we're looking out at you, at our board, at our directors, at our representatives of the profession. As I mentioned to the new directors at our orientation, we serve as the administrative arm of the Texas Supreme Court. We represent the judicial branch of government. You do so without pay, at the sacrifice of billable hours, and private time, the way you see fit to spend it with your family or elsewhere. You do so because you're committed to serving the more than 116,000 active lawyers in the state of Texas, members of the state bar. And you do so because you're committed to serving the over 30 million people of Texas. You just took an oath. Everybody took the oath, not just lawyers, public members too. And it's that oath that makes our profession different than any other. It's that oath that puts on us the burden and the responsibility to lead and represent. And you heard Director Chiscano in his invocation this morning talking about, to those who are given great responsibility comes great service. You are committed to the rule of law, you're committed to public protection, and you're committed to self-regulation. It's that system of self-regulation that allows you and us and our profession the right to vote on the people who lead us, the right to vote on the rules that regulate us, and on the dues that we pay for the right and privilege to practice law. Uphold those high ideals. Don't take your position and role on this board lightly. You have a job to do. Help us help you do it. I look forward to your leadership. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are there any comments from the board? All right, up next, we will have our TYLA President, Allison Martinez.
Thank you, Chair Harrison, President Vargas, and good morning, everyone. Exactly 1 year ago, I remember sitting in a room just like this, and I was very nervous and unsure of what this all was. And I was also still recovering from having missed my very first roll call. Sorry about that again, Trey. But from that first day, I've been welcomed with open arms by this wonderful board and given one of the greatest gifts of my careers, which is a true education and bar service. Thank you to Trey, the wonderful State Bar staff, support staff, all the things that we want to call them, and all of you on this board for your leadership and for the example you set for the rest of us. I also want to congratulate Santos on becoming the State Bar President. During our campaigns, while we were both speaking at an affinity bar organization, at the end of his remarks, Santos says, "How incredible would it be if both the State Bar of Texas and TYLA president had Mexican-American presidents at the same time?" I hadn't thought about it until that moment or reflected on its significance, but I am so happy and so blessed that we are living that reality today. And I look forward to your presidency and this wonderful year that we're gonna have. TYLA is a special organization. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it. Our board is diligent, mission-driven, and thoughtful about every project we take on. This year will be no exception. My vision for TYLA is rooted in connection, representation, and support. We're focused on building stronger relationships with our local affiliates, spotlighting first-generation lawyers across Texas, highlighting the impact of diverse attorneys and public service, expanding wellness programming for young lawyers, and promoting modern tools that support the day-to-day practice of law. Our signature initiative, For the Public, Texas Lawyers in Public Service, will highlight the important work of public service attorneys and create resources for law students and young lawyers interested in following that path. It is proudly funded by a grant from the Texas Bar Foundation. We're also relaunching our Young Gunners podcast with a new theme, Unlikely Advocates. Lawyers who didn't think they'd ever become lawyers, but did, and found power in their story. I may or may not identify with that group, more about that later. And we'll be holding board meetings this year in Houston, El Paso, Laredo, and Lake Conroe. That may or may not be Margaritaville. And in each city, we'll be connecting with local affiliates and young lawyers. And we're launching a statewide social media campaign to celebrate and amplify the voices of first-generation attorneys. Thank you all truly for your trust and faith in me. TYLA is ready to work hard, think big, and lead with heart. And I hope we make you very proud this year. I look forward to giving my report at each board meeting and delivering even more self-deprecating jokes along the way. Thank you so much.
Do we have any comments from directors? All right, if not, we'll move on. Up next, we will hear from Harriet Myers, the chair of the Texas Access to Justice Commission.
Well, as always, thank you for allowing me to be here and speak with you. Listened, and we all prayed along with that invocation this morning, and I felt like I didn't need to make remarks this morning. I could just say amen and sit down. But we always look forward to receiving any suggestions, questions, or whatever you would like to know about the Texas Access to Justice Commission. We welcome your inquiry and interest, and we're there to answer and respond to your suggestions to the extent we can. I have to say, it has been such a delight. I can't adequately probably express how wonderful it has been to work with the leadership of this bar and also the board and all of the people who have helped the Access to Justice effort this year. Steve is our leader, of course, and the board and all of the officers. So thank you for being with us, and we look forward to our next steps as Santos takes the reins. So thank you for all you've done over your career in that area. The item top of mind this morning is the voluntary dues checkoff. It remains essential that we determine how to reach the vast number of members of the bar to ask them to make and get them to make the $150 contribution. As last year, right now, things look pretty good. We're about $80,000 ahead where we were last time this year, or last year this time. Those numbers sound encouraging, and there are also a lot of statements that haven't been sent in yet. So our efforts could really result in great numbers. It appears we're going to raise estimated $1,304,000, so that's a great number. And lawyers don't need to contribute in connection with their due statement. That's obviously the structure, but if they want to chime in with that contribution along with any communication with the bar, they can. Please help us with your friends and colleagues to urge their paying in that $150 and helping us close the justice gap, which we all talk about and know is so extensive. Another top of mind issue is the congressional funding for the Legal Services Corporation. As most of you probably know, we're struggling at the LSC level to make sure that that funding stays in place. Your Access to Justice Commission and the foundation has weighed in. We need you to weigh in with your congressional representatives and make sure that they know just how vitally important it is to have that backbone of delivery of legal services to the poor that LSC provides. Efforts directed at the White House are important also. So if you have a way to do that, please do it. And also, we've seen minds changed on this issue over the course of time. People who were really adverse to the concept of legal services, their minds have been changed by one person they respected telling them, "You're mistaken. Let me tell you why you ought not to do anything but strongly support legal services to the poor." And it's changed minds. So you can do it with your representatives, and so try and help us there. While talking about fundraising, we've got great news about what happened at our Champions of Justice Gala this year. That was just an amazing event. I hope you were there. The Commission, of course, honors our veterans at that event. This year's event was chaired by David McAtee, Senior Executive Vice President, General Counsel of AT&T, and Van Beckwith, Executive Vice President, Chief Legal Officer for Halliburton. Now, Texas Supreme Court Justice Brett Busby is our liaison, of course. He was the master of ceremonies through that event, and with his position has been an extremely effective and strong advocate for access to justice. We appreciate his leadership with us, as we appreciate the leadership of the entire court. And if you want to give a round of applause, I'd love to do that for the Supreme Court of Texas and their support for access to justice. We had every justice at the Access to Justice Champions Gala. Amazing. So thank you, court. David McAtee has already recruited the next chair of that event. He did that from the podium at the event to start us off on a good, I mean, it's just amazing that asking for a volunteer, he got Sandra Phillips of Toyota to stand up and say, "I'll do it." And if you know Sandra Phillips, we're in for a great year. She's an amazing contributor to access to justice and everything she does. So we look forward to her leadership, and she'll have a co-chair, we assume, and also we hope each and every one of you will help us with that gala again so we can keep it an amazing event. We had a great speaker. We'll be looking for another speaker like we had in Brian Stevenson, who was just amazing. So it's an exciting event. It was a sellout, so I'll just make one little warning here. Sign up early, you may not get a seat. So we really were turning people away at the end of our production of the gala. So that was pretty exciting. We raised $1,035,000 basically in that event. If you have any questions or would love to volunteer to help us with that event, please let me know. Another part of our work is to work with the legislature here in Texas. We did that this year. We had 4 bills. We're proud that at least one of those bills on language access we were able to see passed into law, and we'll keep working on the other language access bill that we had, and it was a difficult session, but we were glad to see that progress at least. We're grateful for the continued efforts of the American College of Trial Lawyers in producing what occurred June 9 and 10th here or in Austin, the University of Texas School of Law. And I'm just going to say, if you know Reagan Brown of the American College of Trial Lawyers, he has been helping create and present the academy that is presented for young legal services lawyers every year for over 12 years. So he is going to be helping in this 13th year in a transition. But again, Reagan Brown is Norton Rose Fulbright, great trial lawyer, quietly has made that academy a remarkable event for young lawyers trying to learn their practice in legal services efforts. So again, he deserves our thanks, and I'd love a round of applause for him in his absence. They have already recruited Eric Nichols of Butler Snow to be the next chair of that event. Tough shoes to fill, but Eric is certainly somebody, if you know him, who's up to the task, and he's done work that's been published. He's talked on 60 Minutes, CNN, A&E, True TV, the National Law Journal, Texas Monthly, the Texas Lawyer, and local newspapers throughout the United States. So he knows what he's about, and looking forward to making great strides with that academy as has been through the years. So I'm not going to mention much about the Local Bar Leaders Conference. It's already been mentioned, and it's certainly something that you all know all about. And but the Access to Justice Commission will have 4 sessions there. That's an important effort also. And finally, we do give awards. We're looking forward to the Access to Justice Corporate Counsel Pro Bono Award that will be presented to Dave Louie of Lyondale Basel. So I'm sure that will be a great occasion. And under his leadership at his company, he was able to increase pro bono service and make the firm heavily committed to access to justice. So we thank him for that. And I guess I will conclude and just look forward to visiting with you about any aspect of access to justice. I can conclude by thanking our staff, April Faith Slaker, and all of the staff of the bar that help us so much. A great appreciation for all that you do for us. And Steve, great year. Thank you.
All right, we now have a member of the public that would like to speak, so we're going to go back to agenda item number 5. And Ms. Hayes, if you would like to go to the microphone back there. She does have some materials available for the board members that we've put in the back of the room for you to pick up when she concludes. But you will have 3 minutes to speak, and once your time is up, I will come back on, but the floor is yours.
My name is Teresa Hayes. I also go by Stormy Hayes, and I am wanting to let y'all know about how bad the hacking is affecting court cases, and there has to be something done. When attorneys are making backroom deals and affecting patients' medical care, the theft of medical records. I've had my medical records stolen over 6 times, and I just opened a piece of mail yesterday and saw that somebody had hacked in to the DPS getting the crash files. This is unbelievable how bad this is going on. They have stolen 2 storage units worth of everything that had everything I had, and they were trying to push me to move while so severely injured that I have to have my neck fused. I've been in excruciating pain because they have been trying to cover up for 16 years what happened in Galveston, Texas, in the courtroom with major malpractice and me being used as a political stepping stone for Rick Perry and Greg Abbott. We need some truth, accountability, transparency, and action, and I'm planning to run for governor because of all of this. This has to stop. This is like DC, Texas style, and it has to come to an end. if we don't have ethics and integrity, and if y'all don't do something, I have written y'all 3 times about 3 different attorneys, throwing cases, backroom deals, and I should be sitting in a very nice house right now. Instead, I'm sleeping in my truck because of what's been going on. My son is a state trooper. My brother's a deputy, but they have terrified my family from even helping me. And this goes to UT and the University of Houston, where one of my stalkers, Don and Richard Bonin worked there. And I started looking at the attorneys in my cases. They were all connected to UT that were trying to keep me from getting money because they are covering for this guy and my ex-father-in-law. And then I thought, if this is happening to my attorneys, what about my doctors? And damn, it's happening with my doctors as well. This is how bad they're trying to cover up abuse. I would be dead if I had not gotten surgery at NIH. And when my doctor prevented me from getting disability because she was connected to UT as well, this goes back to 2009. And when you don't have representation for victims, they always want to make money representing the defendants, a lot of times the guilty ones. My ex-husband, they kept my medical records out of the courts, kept me from getting insurance. They were trying to kill me.
Your 3 minutes is up now. If you could please conclude your thought.
We have to have good attorneys, and if you don't hold them accountable, what are you doing here?
Thank you for your remarks. We will now move back to agenda item number 11 to hear a report from our General Counsel, Ross Fisher.
I'll be brief. Welcome to the new board members. As we discussed yesterday in orientation, the clock's ticking now for you to file your initial personal financial statement. If you need help on that, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to help navigate any issues that come up. That's it. Congratulations. I look forward to working with all of you. Thanks.
Are there any comments from directors? All right, and now we will hear from our Chief Legal Counsel, Chris Ritter.
Thank you, and I only have a very brief report to make in closed session.
All right, the time is now 9:53 a.m., and the State Board of Directors will now recess the open meeting and reconvene in closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, for the purpose of consulting with legal counsel regarding Turnbull versus Commission of Lawyer Discipline et al. In the U.S. Supreme Court, Turnbull versus Commission for Lawyer Discipline et al. In the Third Court of Appeals, Robbins versus State Bar of Texas et al. In the 14th Court of Appeals, Robbins versus Commission for Lawyer Discipline et al. In the Harris County District Court, legal matters related to 1415 Lavaca, legal matters related to the State Bar's Information Technology System Security, and as authorized by Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to deliberate regarding personnel matters. With the exception of board liaisons and section representatives, all other individuals, including non-essential support staff and other guests, need to excuse themselves from the closed session. We will notify the public when we are 5 minutes out from returning to open session. when we're back up. Okay, the time is now 9:59 a.m., and the open session of the Board of Directors meeting will now reconvene. During the closed session, only matters relating to the consultation with legal counsel regarding Turnbull versus Commission for Lawyer Discipline et al. In the U.S. Supreme Court, Turnbull versus Commission for Lawyer Discipline et al. In the Third Court of Appeals, Robbins versus State Bar of Texas et al. In the 14th Court of Appeals, Robbins versus Commission for Lawyer Discipline et al. In Harris County District Court, legal matters related to 1415 Lavaca, legal matters related to the State Bar's Information Technology System Security, and as authorized by Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to deliberate regarding personnel matters. No action was taken in closed session. Now, is there a director who wishes to make a motion to adjourn the meeting? It's been moved by Director Mateer and seconded by the rest. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned at 10 a.m.